Okay, thank you, Yanni.
Enjoy it.
And Yanni, thank you for inviting me. Great to be here. And without further ado, I will start the presentation. Just please let me know or show me whether all's good, whether you see. Great, thank you. Once again, my name is Lucie Hudák Malá. I'm representing the workplace consultancy department in the company Capexus. Capexus is design and build, and the mission of the workplace, the mission of me and my colleagues, is to enhance the work culture. We understand this is a complex process. We understand its in-depth analysis, good understanding of the current trends and the situation, and also vision of the future development is needed to be able to do anything in a good design of the future-proof work environment. Okay, let me switch here. And what we'll cover today. First of all, our experience with diversity topic. We as workplace consultants, we don't create the strategy. I'm quite sure that many of you know much more about it, about diversity strategy and its processes and approaches toward employees that you know more than me. We use the strategy to implement it when we do the design. When we design the office, we usually ask the company, our client, for the strategy. And in collaboration with the client, we tried to implement the key features, the things that the clients want to have in their office. And what we see, the hands-on experience is that diversity is often in place, like strategically, but not in place physically. And that's a challenge. That's something that we're here for discussing, and eventually we will try to change that on the market. So the challenge is to make office environment that does not reflect the intention to enable full-fledged employee experience for diversity beneficiaries. And we will talk a little bit about the tips and tricks to walk the talk, and and it would be a shame for the strategy just to end in the strategy. Our point of view is that supporting diversity is universally good. And in the age of inattention, chaos, and hyper competition, every step towards inclusive culture counts. So that's what that's why I'm here, probably. And from the beginning, I would like to make you think about how you have it in your office environments, how you have done it in your company's workplace, how diversity friendly is your office on a scale 1 to 10. You can think about it. You can write in the chat, whatever. We can discuss it later. And also one more thought from the Manpower Index that came out recently, and there were some numbers that I found interesting, and that's over 60% employees of a Gen Z are not satisfied with the depth of inclusion and diversity from their employer. And I think that should be reflected, and this voice should be heard eventually, like on the side of the employers and in the offices as well. And what inclusive culture, what does it need? I think beyond all the other things from the HR and from the company strategy, it needs its culture place. So don't forget employees that are not in the diversity focus. Sometimes the culture place belongs to everyone. And creating community places are the next big thing in office design. Again, question for you. You can think about it. If your place, if there is a place in your office where everything important happens, a place that is the heart of the company, place with coffee, place for informal meetings, for town halls, business breakfasts, and think about whether that place is inclusive as it is right now. And we can discuss it later again. And then I created like a kind of small catalog of the solutions for various groups that some things are musts and some things are nice to have in the office. So for the disabilities, you might notice, as is limited mobility, visual hearing impairment, or some physical impairments, what does the office need to have to include these people comfortably? And it is must have accessible office. That means ramps, elevators, restrooms fit for use with wheelchairs, and also lowered kitchen corners. Again, kitchens fit for use with wheelchairs. What we often have is accessible office. We often see restrooms for wheelchair users. Very seldom we see kitchen corners with the lower desk, and it's a problem. And one more thing that is nice to have is variety of seating options, which would offer different working styles for different physical needs. Then there are disabilities you might not notice, and I'm not good with numbers. I don't know how many each group represent in the overall employee population, but I believe the disabilities you might not notice are even more numerous than the ones that you would notice. And what I mean by that is various mental health, people with various mental health issues or history of burnout, with diabetes and epilepsy. How to reflect needs of these people in the office design. We think that, I'm sorry. Absolute must is focus rooms and quiet rooms for these people to be able to do their work. They need to focus. They need to have safe and quiet environment. So definitely focus and quiet rooms should be something that the office should offer. And then there are various things that I think are nice to have, but of course that depends of how much space you have, how many things you want to implement. Examples as breakout spaces or nature in the office, office in the nature. So all the biophilic solutions that the office design offers. Wellness room or gym, yoga room, whatever you want to implement. Overall flexible working environment, I think that benefits lots of people, but definitely most to the ones who are sensitive to overlighting, overcrowding, or or too much noise, and so on. A variety of lighting options, that's something that we see very often would be beneficial in the office. So some people who are sensitive might lower down the exposure to overlighting. Other minority groups, we honestly don't see this implemented very much, but I believe anyhow it might be issue for you, so I included it. And those are minority groups from various religion backgrounds or traveling employees or older generations. How to reflect needs of these people in the office design. Again, breakout spaces, various resting options, prayer rooms, jet lag rooms, restrooms for various gender identities can also be a topic for bigger companies. Then we have parents and kids. This group, I think, is very big, and good thing is that we see needs of these people reflected in the office design much more than it used to be in the past. So that's great. Nevertheless, I think that there's a lot that in many office projects can be done to go even further. So parents and kids is a big group. Slightly different needs have mothers with very small kids. Those are usually mothers taking care of the very small children that are still in their nursing period. But then parents of toddlers, parents of older kids, they all have very different needs. That how it can be reflected in the office design. Again, for the mothers with small kids, absolute must is providing nursing rooms in the office. Without that, it's a struggle, and I think it's even sometimes a bit humiliating to have to nurse the kids on the toilets and perhaps in some private meeting rooms, but it's a struggle. That should, like, we should be further. We should implement this in every office where we see mothers and where we want them to return to work and support them. Then another thing that I believe is not a must, but it's nice to have, is childcare service. And for even a little older kids, the family rooms where, for example, the parent can work like 100%, have the office desk, all the technology equipment then that he or she needs, and in the corner of the office or in the room can be just a little area for like a kids corner with equipment for kids. I think the limited access to affordable childcare is a problem because mothers may not have access to affordable, high quality childcare. And that can make it difficult to continue working or to advance in their career. And again, here's a little print screen from the Manpower Index that a lot of women want to go back to work, and if the employers supported them a little bit more, it would be a group of employees that we could tap into in the future, and it would be beneficial for them and for the employers equally. Then, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, sometimes we forget that there are even like assistance animals. So some people with disabilities have their pets that we should also include when we are thinking about office and office design. So there are assistant animals, and also there are pets, or some people some people consider them their fur kids. And in Prague alone, the numbers of just dogs, not even like pet animals, but just dogs, are 80,000. So again, I think it would help many people if they had the opportunity to take their pets into the office. And sometimes employers don't even think about that. How can we reflect the needs of animals in the office, to have designated area for pets, perhaps some outdoor dog run if possible, dog-related amenities, such as where to give them food and water, and also cleaning and sanitation amenities, because then some people might be allergic, so it's very important in the office to comply with hygienic standards and to really clean well after animals. Sometimes clients ask us whether it's okay if they just comply with check norms, whether it's enough. And sadly, the norms will not help you much. The check norms, first of all, the norms are just like, they're like not legally bounding. They are, teď mi vypadlo doporučení. Pomozte mi někdo.
Recommendations.
Recommendations. Check norms are just recommendations. And usually what we see in the offices, there is accessibility taken care of by the building, by the landlord, by the developer. There are usually restrooms for disabled people, again, because the restrooms are usually bound to the building, not to the office that companies are renting, not to the office itself. And there are usually parking spaces. Again, it's bound to the building. It's not that much. And everything else is up to the tenants, up to the companies who rent the spaces. That means you. So check norms do not care much about the inclusion of the office environment. That's important to have in mind. I'm not sure it's gonna change much, perhaps it is, but the legal process with norms is always very long, and the norms are always several years behind the trends and behind what would really be needed on the market. I would like to mention diversity ownership in the project coordination, because what we often see, what is our experience is that there is strategy, there is goodwill, there is willingness to put the diversity in place, but it stays on the paper, or in processes and in the HR approach, which is great. I think that it is important, but very often the diversity owners, the stakeholders, are not part of the project team that takes care of the offices. Like there's no one in the project team to really support this agenda. And then diversity falls victim to cost cutting or various value engineering. That's the sad truth. And again, I think this needs to be changed. So what I'm showing you here is like a life cycle of an office project. It starts with a kickoff with various preparations. Then my group of people, my colleagues or any other workplace consultants, prepare the high-level workplace strategy. Then the strategy gets implemented in the real physical space. We create the zoning plan. And once the zoning plan is in place, that's basically the agenda, the space agenda of the new office. So here is the place where requirements for diversity, the various things, amenities that we want to put into the new design, that needs to be already here, because the zoning gets detailed and gets drawn into a space plan that gets again detailed into interior design, with various finishes and colors and design elements. Then it gets into technical design. So various drawings are made. The technical design is like a basis for the construction works. The construction gets made according to the technical design. Then we find the right furnishings. We deliver furnishings, and that's it. The project is delivered and closed. So you see, in the beginning, in the preparation phase, it's essential to put those requirements in place and to work with them and develop them, and do not allow them to get cut out by the cost cutting or by the space saving strategies. So the next steps for you and for me alike, for us together, is to understand the process and include the diversity stakeholders, who would be the guard dogs of the agenda, and will not let the diversity requirements just go away or do not get silenced by the project coordination process. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the new office or reconstruction. We see the same thing, that when the diversity owners are not in the project team, it just doesn't get done. That's what it is. And how to get the best results according to our experience, and what I want to leave you with is this. Ask the people, because people usually know what they need, what they want, and do not ask just the beneficiaries of the diversity agenda. Just ask the employees, what do they want? What would they want to see in the new office? What would they benefit from? Give them the tools to give you their ideas, give you their opinions. You can either do various workshops or surveys, or just let them talk to ambassadors. Then support diversity groups and initiatives, because once the groups and initiatives are in place, these people can get across the requests they would have, the ideas they would have for the new office or for the reconstruction of the office. And once it's there, the project team might be better inclined to listen to them. So it's better if it's already there when the project starts with the preparation phase. Yes, that's all from me. Now we have time for questions and discussion. If you have anything that was of interest to you or anything from the questions I posed, just shoot out and we can discuss it.